If you went to college, got the good job, got the girlfriend, and you're still not where you want to be in life, I used to be there too. I was a college frat boy who went into corporate sales just to make $3,000 a month. That's less than a Chick-fil-A worker makes, by the way. Graduated top of my class, had a good major, did everything right on paper, but I still could not get ahead. So I decided to quit all of that in 2024, and just 2 years later, at 26 years old, I'm making consistent 10K months with AI videos, putting in max 2 hours of effort per day. So in this video, I'm gonna give you the full picture, my story, my experiences, what I tried, what I failed, and what actually moved the needle for me to get me into my current position. And I'll be showing you the exact engine I'm running right now. Because if you're sitting at a job you absolutely hate like I was, it's not gonna magically get better as time goes on. If anything, it's just gonna get harder and harder to leave. So you clicked on this video for a reason. Let's get into it. So I went to college starting in 2018 at High Point University, middle of nowhere, North Carolina. But if you know anything about High Point, it's basically the country club of colleges. And me being on academic scholarship was probably one of the brokest kids there. But being around people who came from so much wealth taught me very quickly that money is what you need to make it in this life. So I made sure to learn as much as possible and get surrounded by the best people possible during my time in college, which involved joining a fraternity, maybe indulging in some degenerate behavior, but at the same time learning phenomenal lifetime leadership and social skills. And unfortunately learning the hard way that me, as an exercise science major, thinking I was gonna be some physical therapist and make it big time, was absolutely not going to if I continued on that exercise science path. Because when you're in the fraternity life, you see the people who have the most money, the most job opportunities, the most success opportunity, they're all business majors and they all work maybe maximum 1 hour per day. There's the running joke, if you're a business major, life is on easy mode. It really is, because there's so much leverage in going where the money goes. So understanding that, I realized, okay, I need to pivot from exercise science to something that goes into business with that degree. So what I thought would work was medical device sales. Everybody tells you the lie of med sales, it's the greatest thing ever. It is one of the most horrible industries to ever be in. That was my first job out of college. I was working with big name hospitals. I would be in the operating room watching people get cut into, trying to sell these surgeons who are 50, 60 years old, me as a 22-year-old, no life experience, on some garbage product that was no different than the competitor's product. And in working this job, which I was told that is the greatest industry ever, the best job ever, I was barely taking home $3,000 profit each month. Didn't even have benefits. I was a 1099 employee. And this was probably one of the hardest eras for me at life-wise, because I had the ego death of being the big man on campus in college to then being an absolute ant in the medical device industry world, barely making money. Even in the real world standards, I was barely making any money. Girls didn't want to talk to me all of a sudden because I was broke. I had to live with my mom in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina, because I could not afford to live anywhere else, have my own apartment. So in June of 2023, I realized I have to have some other stream of income if I'm ever gonna make it out of this awful situation. And so I started doing men's fashion content. It was something I was passionate about, something I could easily talk about. So I started posting this content on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I would get flamed by my coworkers. I would get flamed by competitor reps who would watch my content. And that's where a lot of people would have quit. But I said, there is nothing worse than this awful ass $3,000 a month job. So I pushed through it. And eventually I realized, okay, you know, if I'm gonna make it big on social media, I can't be doing this from my mom's house in the middle of nowhere. So I applied to a whole bunch of other sales jobs, and I landed one in Nashville, Tennessee, which was about 9 hours away from where I was living. And it was a cold calling sales job where I was essentially cold calling factories and trying to sell them thermometers and pressure sensors for their critical machinery they have in the factory. Which, to put it in perspective, is like calling up a homeowner and saying, hey John, how do you like your light bulbs? Do you want some new ones? Homeowners do not care about light bulbs until one goes out. So it was basically some needle in the haystack hunt to just pick up the phone, eventually call somebody who has some sort of big enough machine issue to where maybe they need your name brand thermometers. Very, very, very low leverage. I would have to call these places. I'd have to drive out 3 to 4 hours to go meet with these like 60-year-old blue collar dudes who really didn't want to talk about anything besides politics and like Donald Trump stuff. So it was really just not the best job for me. It paid decently well. I took home about $5,000 a month. I could afford to live on my own, had my my own 1-bedroom apartment. Granted, it was in a pretty trash area of the city. And it was my first real experience as a man living out on my own. But as nice as having my own freedom was, very quickly I learned that the whole corporate America grind, the whole corporate America life is just not for me. Having to sit there, getting basically babysat by your boss, being forced to act and do certain things that were against what I believed in, who I was as a person, it just didn't make any sense, and I felt like I was trapped yet again. And while I was working this sales job, in the background, I was still posting that men's style content, slowly growing up these accounts on Instagram and Facebook, and most importantly, TikTok. Because then in summer of 2024, I just completely 180'd my men's style account into a TikTok shop account selling hair loss products. And already on my first month, I made about $3,000 profit, which then had me realize that maybe I didn't have to work this corporate sales job much longer. And eventually I did quit that job in September of 2024, just 2 months after I started doing TikTok shop. At this point, I had enough saved up from that job to pay off my lease through the end of the year. So if everything failed, I would just move back home in North Carolina where everything started, and then I would figure it out because I knew I would. But thankfully that didn't happen, because November I hit a $30,000 month, and December I hit a $33,000 month. And as much fun as that was with TikTok shop and making those videos for hair loss products, I eventually realized just how finicky TikTok shop is as a business model. Because if you've done TikTok shop before, you understand how random account violations are. And these aren't just, oh, you know, that was a bad video. These are full on banning your accounts, freezing your commissions. You will not get paid out those commissions if the violation is severe enough. And on top of that, TikTok is a very cyclical platform. Your views go up, your sales go up, your views go down, sales go down. It's all up and down. It is very inconsistent. And all it takes is one algorithm update, or the US buying out the owners of TikTok, to just completely re-engineer the algorithm and just destroy your consistent income that you had. I had decent income for a while on there, but I realized I had to start building something consistent over long term as TikTok got more and more oversaturated, more and more ad spend heavy, and much more violation heavy. I used to have multiple accounts selling on multiple niches, but I got all of those banned except for one, and on that one that remains, I don't even use it anymore. I just do free sample content on there. Knock on wood, it doesn't get banned while I'm recording this. So I basically floated by on TikTok shop income, going from anywhere from about 6K to 15K up and down pretty much the majority of 2025 until November 2025, where this thing, AI influencers and AI, really started to get good enough to where you could use an AI character to start selling a product online. And so in November 2025, the peak of Black Friday on TikTok shop, the Super Bowl if you're an affiliate marketer, I decided to go against falling into the trap of the whole Q4 craze. And I actually started investing in learning AI tools and AI avatars. And I hopped on a brand campaign where I was making a well-endowed blonde girl giving a fake podcast about detoxing your liver, which, to put that into perspective, is probably one of the most low converting types of content you could possibly make. So I did that from all of November, all of December. I saw total garbage results. I had maybe 2 sales during that entire 2-month span, but it wasn't until January of 2026, within 1 week of posting, I had a new avatar, and I maybe got 20 followers in total across all the accounts that I had made, which is an absolute joke for 2 months of effort. But that was my fault, because I was posting stupid blonde girl content. I wasn't leaning into what was actually working: AI avatars. So with this AI avatar thing getting a lot of buzz, I started listening more and more to the campaign managers in the AI community. They sent me avatar inspiration, they sent me script inspiration. So I basically just took what they did, remixed it into my own ways. And within my first week of January 2026, I hit 10,000 followers on a brand new account and was already monetizing much, much better than I was the past 2 months. And during November and December, when I was seeing absolutely no results, I knew AI worked because it was working for other people. I just didn't know how it was going to work for me. And so getting those first sales trickle in on the brand new account, 10K followers on the brand new account, I knew it was going to happen eventually. And all it took was just divorcing from those old blonde girl accounts and then just running with an older avatar. Because at this point, I stopped guessing what was going to perform, because from TikTok shop, you make blonde AI girls, they convert so well. But with this is a whole different game. This is not TikTok shop. It's organic on Facebook, organic on Instagram. Older audience, they don't care about the hot blonde girls. They just care about the old, wise characters who are going to give some gate-kept, holistic, generational health knowledge. And this is where the shift happened. I stopped trying to guess what was going to work, what these people wanted to see, and I started reverse engineering what was already already working, but doing it better and more creatively. So I'm not gonna lie, most videos on the internet, they're all just copies of each other and they're not creative at all. You add the tiniest little bit of spice in there, make it just creative enough, and it's gonna get a lot of views. So that's exactly what I was doing. I was just taking what worked, adding my own unique spin on it, and I was seeing quick results. And this is the exact difference between burning 2 months of my life trying to figure out what works versus just swallowing my pride, copying what works, adding my own twist, and seeing results. So before anything else, before you make the video, the avatar, you have to have a winning script and you have to understand what types of avatars work. So here I'm on a burner Instagram account where I'm only following these top AI accounts, and we're just gonna use Alan's Health as an example. So we scroll down on his profile and look at this. We've got a 169,000 view video from how long ago? 2 days ago. So this is a hot trending video. So what we're gonna do to get this script, you copy the link here, you paste the link here on free Instagram Reels transcript generator. You're gonna get the transcript, you're gonna copy the text here, head on over to Claude, and you're gonna tell Claude this. You're gonna say to Claude, I'm making an AI character to give generic health advice in the health niche on Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to feed you 10 winning scripts and what avatar was saying the script so you can point out what the winning framework is so we can use this framework over and over in our own way, shape, and form. So what I did is I also included an image of the avatar so Claude can visually see, oh, it's old white dude with tattoos in a rich background. That's who's saying it, and then boom, here's the script itself. So with that, Claude then sends me back the framework telling me step by step what each part of the script does. There's the CTA, the hook, the shock and credibility reveal, the root cause, all that fun stuff. And then it also gives me an avatar recommendation, which it gives me 4 different ones. I just chose number 1, the Chinese elder. So with this, I've got my framework, I've got my winning avatar. I'm now going to get Claude to take that winning framework and make it about my product, which in this example is going to be a joint inflammation product. So if I'm selling a joint inflammation product, I want Claude to use that winning framework and write it about joint inflammation instead of gut health or anti-aging like the original script was. So here I've got my new winning Claude script. So we're going to keep this bookmarked and we're going to go over to Higgsfield image generation. And here in Higgsfield image generation, we're going to go back to the Chinese elder character that it generated for us. And we're actually going to ask Claude to give us a JSON style of prompt, copy and paste to use. So this is the actual prompt for the image. You copy it, you come in here, you paste it here using Nano Banana Pro. You have to use Nano Banana Pro as the image generation engine. I mean, you don't have to. It's what I recommend because it makes the skin look as realistic as possible. So we've done this, we've got our character, but the problem here is that he's in this pose right here. We don't want him giving a video where he's talking like the most amazing thing for your joint stuff. We don't want that. We want him to like be seated at a table where he can just talk like this and say, joint inflammation, blah, 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 education, education, education. So we need to change the prompt and have him seated at a nice table with like herbs and jars in the background to give that whole Chinese ancient holistic healing vibe. So we're going to reprompt using this as the reference image, and this is what we're going to get. Boom, 100 times better. We've got a nice setting for him. We've got ornate tables. We got the jarred herbs. We got that credibility being built in the background. And this is our character right here. We're going to save this. And we're going to use this as the master image that we're going to animate in the hook and animate with the body script with HeyGen. So if you notice on the original video, there's a street interview and there's a lot of motion. There's a lot going on. There's people walking in the background. In order to get this level of detail in an AI video, you're going to have to use one of these hook short video image generation models like Google Flow VEO3. That's the image generation model that I use because it's what my VAs know how to use. And honestly, any best software is the software your VA knows how to use and you don't have to worry about. So that's why I use VEO3. But using this reference image, I then clicked, I dragged down here, and I used the current prompt. I said, have the man in the image pour the tea from the teacup in his hands all over his face and say the following words, quote, pour cold tea over your face if you have wrinkles. So here in the video, our Chinese healer, he says this.
Pour cold tea over your face if you have wrinkles.
Boom, there is the hook. We're gonna go ahead and save that. And so now that we've got the hook, remember that nice script that Claude cooked up for us? We're gonna go ahead and we're going to copy this entire script. I have this on the clipboard and we're gonna head over to HeyGen. So here I've uploaded an avatar using the master image of our Chinese healer. We're going to animate a video with him. So you're gonna click this little play button, add script, boom. Remember that Claude script? Now we can finally put that script into action, animate with our avatar. So here on HeyGen, the reason why we use HeyGen for the body script is because it is infinitely cheaper, faster, and easier to generate an educational body script where the character is just sitting here and he's like, education, education, fact, 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 fact. You don't need to like dance around and pour hot water and tea on your face. You don't need to like get all the action. All the action happens in the hook. The education happens in the body. There's no need for crazy movement. So just use something like Avatar 4 on HeyGen, where the character is going to sit there and he's going to like use his hands to talk a little bit. That's it. You can use Avatar 3. It's going to look really, really robotic and fake. Like the lip won't sync properly. And then Avatar 5, it's just going to do too much. Avatar 5, your character is going to randomly start picking his nose. He's going to start doing like a monkey dance while he's talking about, I don't know, anti-aging or whatever your script has to say. We don't want monkey dances. We don't want robotic movements. We want just the natural, the hands moving as he's talking, which is why I just use Avatar 4 Plus. You know, it's like $1 per 1 minute generated, which is very, very cheap in this whole AI game. So once you have that, you do 1080p. That's what I'd recommend. It just takes a little bit longer to generate. I'm doing 720p for the illustration for this example. So we're gonna do 720p for this example. Click the black arrow and we're going to get our video, which will look something like this.
In the joints overnight. The black pepper is not.
So the reason his voice sounds like that is because I just chose a default HeyGen voice. Ideally, you're gonna wanna use 11 Labs to make your own voice. So you go over here to voices, click the plus sign, you do voice design. It's the most cracked method for making a voice. So we're gonna say ancient, Chinese, herbal, healer, giving, wisdom, about health. He is an elder in the village and speaks with a calm tone. Excuse the spelling, I'm speed typing here, but you're gonna do this, you're gonna generate voice and it's gonna give you that voice. So when you have that voice, you're then going to sync it over here to HeyGen, which is done by clicking on your avatar, going over to the voice up here. It's the default voice that I chose. I'm gonna switch voice and you're gonna click import from third party and it's gonna give you instructions on how to use the API key and all that stuff to import from 11 Labs into HeyGen. HeyGen and 11 Labs are like sister companies or partners or whatever, so they work very well together. I'm not gonna click this button because it's gonna show a bunch of private information. I can't be showing that on camera, but that's how that works. But either way, once you have your hook and once you have the body, you're going to upload both into your editing software. So here's my hook, here's my body. I've got my hook in here, I got my body. I generated captions. Another thing I added too is, so you know how he goes from the tea, he's drinking the tea, it's on his face, to then sitting at a table? I added this little fade animation. So this way he's not teleporting from this to this. This doesn't make sense. It like fades, so it's a different scene.
Listen closely.
So that's how you're gonna wanna do it. Of course, you're also gonna wanna add some text on screen because it's like, what is it? 50% of people, they're watching social media while they're taking a dump at work and they don't want their boss to hear them. So they got zero volume on. You gotta hit that dump at work audience. Like most people who are doom scrolling, watching videos like this, they're doing it at their desk at work. They're trying not to get caught at work. And how are they gonna watch your video? They're gonna watch your video when there's subtitles on screen. So that's why you have to have the text on screen. I have yet to see an AI video that doesn't do the text on screen. So that's why you gotta have it. But once you do that, all you gotta do is export it and then you just export it as a video and then boom, you've got your video. Now, one last thing that is worth noting. So here in the video, you know how this voice here
Put cold tea over your face.
sounds absolutely nothing like the voice here?
Warm water.
That is a problem, but it is a very, very easy fix. So all you have to do is go back to 11 Labs. Remember the voice you made? Let's say this voice is called Chinese Healer. All you have to do is go here to Voice Changer. You click and drag your VEO3 Google hook into here. So there's your 8-second hook video, and you're going to select a voice to change the hook voice into. So let's say Blue Grills is the name of the Chinese Healer voice. This is just an example. So we're gonna choose this voice to change it to. So original hook sounds like this.
Pour cold tea over your face.
And now we're going to generate speech by changing the voice and it's going to sound like this.
Pour cold tea over your face.
Obviously, that's not the voice we want, but you see, this is exactly how this stuff works. And that's pretty much the entire workflow from start to finish. All you have to do now is just keep finding those inspo winning videos, taking those scripts, and then throwing those scripts back into Claude, and then rinse and repeating with your AI avatar. Simple as that. You keep doing that. You want to be testing multiple scripts at a time. You don't want to just be rinsing the exact same one, because let's say you're only testing one script with a different background or a different hook. The problem is maybe the script is the issue. So of your 10 videos, they all flop because the script sucks. Now, if you're testing 5 different scripts with 2 different hooks, you're gonna test faster and find a winning script faster than somebody who's just doing the same script over and over and over again. That was the mistake I did for the first 2 months. I was rinsing the exact same script over and over and and over for 2 months with the exact same hook, just expecting a different result because my avatar is wearing different clothing. I got absolutely nowhere doing that. I actually started seeing results when I did this entire system, this entire walkthrough, this entire setup that I just walked you guys through. And that's the exact system that I've been running now to help me escape from the rat race of TikTok Shop, which ironically helped me escape from the 9-to-5 rat race. But in 2026, TikTok Shop is not the best opportunity, not by a long shot. It was once I stopped relying on the opinions of others constantly telling me that TikTok Shop's the best thing ever, you're so good at TikTok Shop, keep doing it, and I actually invested in real tangible skills like AI content. That's when things started to get consistent again, and that's when I started to see good results once again. Because the results are much more consistent doing AI avatars than doing TikTok Shop, but only if you are doing the right things. And I'm not the only one who's making money with it. If anything, I'm like one of the poorest people doing it, only barely doing 10K a month. We have people doing 30, 50, 100, 200K months with this exact model. And they themselves are escaping the corporate rat race with AI content. So if you want to be like one of them or like me, making consistent money with this stuff, I'm able to monetize by joining the Network AI Creator Lab, where you're funneled into these brand campaigns, get retainer deals even as a total beginner, get anywhere from 50 to 300% commissions, which is huge considering if you use other affiliate programs like Amazon Associates, you're maybe getting 0.1% commissions. So to go from 0.1 to 50 to 300% commissions, I would gladly take that. And even from a brand standpoint, we're funneled into campaigns working with multi-million and billion-dollar brands, getting paid retainers as a total beginner, all while being spoon-fed winning content, winning scripts from the content team on that campaign and the content managers. So I had to start all over today, no knowledge, no understanding of any of this stuff. I would not jump to TikTok Shop first. I would immediately go into AI content. It's going to last so much longer than TikTok Shop or any other affiliate type of marketing that requires you to show your face. I genuinely don't think there's been an easier time in human history to consistently make $10,000 a month from your phone without showing your face. Up to 90 to even 100% automated. You can just hire VAs to do the editing for you, hire the VAs to do the content generation for you. That's what I personally do. And that's why I only work 2 hours a day doing this stuff. So if you want to get started with this, everything you need is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.